Now let's turn our attention homewards. India has launched another mission to help Indians get home. They're calling it Operation Ajay. The first flight lands in Israel tonight. It'll reach India on Friday morning. It will carry about 230 passengers. And we expect many more such flights in the days ahead. We are right across the Indian embassy in Israel here in Tel Aviv. And we've seen a lot of action through the day here. There are thousands of Indians in Israel, about 18,000 people. Many moved here for work or higher education. There are plenty of Indians working in Israel's healthcare sector as well. India and Israel are friendly countries. The people-to-people ties are strong. But right now, New Delhi believes that Indians need to come back home. Because the war is escalating, the Consul General of Israel sent out this message today.
There are around 18,000 Indian citizens in Israel, including 1,000 Indian students whom we love very much. The Indian business community that we love and respect so much contribute to our economy in a big way. Indian nurses and caregivers have become part of our families. The Israeli government is doing the utmost to assist the Indian embassy in Tel Aviv in Operation Ajay. We look forward to welcome all of you back in Israel once we win the war against Hamas, ISIS terrorists. Jai Hind.
Now, this is not the first such mission to bring Indians home. Earlier this year, we saw Operation Kaveri. The government of India launched it, Operation Kaveri. It was to bring Indian citizens home from the Sudan, and that conflict is still on in Africa. Last year, India airlifted its students from Ukraine after the war broke out. And now they're at work in Israel. India's Ministry of External Affairs has been working on a war footing. New Delhi says its priority is the safety of Indian citizens, and we pray for their success. But tonight, we also want to discuss what next? What happens after Indians are brought back? Will that be the end of New Delhi's role in this crisis? Will India try to negotiate or mediate like other regional and international powers? We ask because India is once again uniquely placed here. It has leverage on both sides, Israel and the Arab world. Historically too, India has had a good equation with the Palestinians. So what is New Delhi's position on this crisis? Here's what the government says.
Our policy in this regard has been long-standing and consistent. India has always advocated the resumption of direct negotiations towards establishing a sovereign, independent and viable state of Palestine, living within secure and recognized borders, side by side, at peace with Israel. And I think that position remains the same.
He says that India's position remains the same and that India has always wanted peace in the region. But will India make an effort to build that peace? Will India leverage its ties? Will it offer to mediate? And if it does, it will be a departure from the past because India has never been a power broker in West Asia. That has traditionally been American turf, although that's been changing of late. China stepped in a few months back to mediate between Iran and Saudi Arabia. And this is West Asia. It is far away from China's traditional sphere of influence, yet Beijing waded in. So West Asia is changing. Its power politics is changing. What about India? India refrains from unilaterally entering conflicts. India participates through multilateral platforms. India sends troops to conflict zones as part of the UN peacekeeping mission. But all of that is part of India's traditional approach. In recent years, we've seen some shifts. 6 years ago, India dehyphenated Israel and Palestine. 6 days ago, the Indian Prime Minister said this Hamas attack was a terrorist attack. In the last 1 year, India has called out Western hypocrisy at the highest levels, refused to take sides in the Ukraine war, pulled off a wildly successful G20 summit, showed its diplomatic heft by forging consensus, demanded its rightful place at the UN high table. India is ready to join the big league, but is India also looking at taking up big challenges? And right now, none seems bigger than this one in West Asia. So will New Delhi step up, or will it work behind the scenes?
In the world of diplomacy, we are always engaged in conversations and contacts. At the External Affairs Minister level, as you correctly mentioned, he had put out. Whenever there's some specific engagement that takes place, we will certainly share with you. But of course, we maintain close contacts, and we have been at various levels with all relevant stakeholders. And I think that's part of our diplomatic outreach.
This was in response to a question about India reaching out to the UAE. He said India is engaging with all stakeholders. At this point, it's hard to say what's the shape and scope of this engagement. We'll be tracking this space for you.